Thanks for watching Cooking Up Louisiana Treasures. I'm Chef Celeste, and on this episode, we're talking all about mustard greens and pumpkins. Welcome to Cooking Up Louisiana Treasures, where we talk all about specialty crops. We're going to take you around our great state to show you where you can buy them, how they're grown, and what you can do with them in the kitchen. I'm Chef Celeste, and on today's show, we're going to talk about mustard greens and pumpkins. We're going to kick things off today in Point Capee Parish at Glazer Family Farm. Mustard greens are the leaves of the mustard plant. Mustard greens are known for the peppery flavor they add to the dishes in which they are featured. Mustard greens are grown across Louisiana. We visited one such producer in Point Capee Parish to learn all about this popular Louisiana specialty crop. So from seed to harvest, tell me, how do you do? You plant the seeds in the ground?
We plant the seeds in the ground. This time of year, of course, you have to, you have to water them, try to, get the ground damp so the seed will germinate and come up. We use drip irrigation, which is it conserves water. You only put out the water that you need. You don't water the whole field. And it works real good on mustards. They don't need an excessive amount of water, but they need to kind of stay damp. Okay. And that's what the drip does. It just keeps the ground damp.
And how many days does it take to get to this size
here? It's 45
here?
days from when you plant till you can start harvesting. Some people like real little mustards, so if the conditions right or perfect, sometimes you can start harvesting in 30 days, but usually it's about 45, 50 days to harvest.
Charles plants every 2 weeks to ensure he maintains a constant supply of mustards for the markets he serves. Mustard greens come in a host of varieties that each have a distinct characteristic. Producers like Charles each have their favorite varieties. So what are the different varieties that you grow?
This is Florida broadleaf. You can see it has a real broad leaf. That's where it comes from. I don't know if it originated in Florida, but that's the name, Florida broadleaf. Florida broadleaf sells the best for us. And there's also a tender green, which a lot of other farmers in the area raise. But we've tried it before. We found that the Florida broadleaf does the best for us. When it's real hot, you'll kind of have a little bite to it. It's kind of, when it gets cooler, you kind of lose that bite and have just a true mustard flavor. But it's a very good mustard. Even when it's hot, it's still what we consider one of the best.
Nice. I cannot wait to get back and start cooking with these. You can buy fresh mustard greens from specialty grocers, farmers markets, and roadside stands.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from Grandma's empanadas. Shall we go again? Yep. Mix beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it? Got it. Throw on the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Ballerina.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
Well, folks, we're here with our guest, and you see him all the time, Commissioner Mike Strain. He's the Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry. So welcome.
Wonderful. We have a great show today.
Yes, we do. We're talking all about pumpkins and
and greens, mustard greens. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
You know, pumpkins are a New World crop. They were originally from Mexico. It's from the gourd family. Yes, and when you look at mustard greens, now that's a very, very old crop that originated in the Indian subcontinent. And so, and they have, you know, been all over the world, you know, in that overall exchange. And they're so incredibly versatile, healthy, and nutritious. And when you think about all the many things that we do, it's going to be absolutely a delicious show.
Well, it is. And even when you look at the different varieties, not only can you cook with them, but we have our ornamentals. And I couldn't decide what to pick. So that's why we have so many here. We got some of everything. But getting in the kitchen with them,
absolutely,
they are so easy to work with.
And they grow very, very well in our climate here in Louisiana. And it's, you know, part of our Louisiana treasures.
We're going to show you how good and tasty mustard greens can be. But before you cook your mustard greens, clean them for safety reasons. So, washing your greens is very important. See, take a look. You're going to have the soil on there. You need to get all of that off. Then, they may look clean when you first pick them up, but you'll find that you're biting on little grains of soil if you don't do that. So just make sure you get each of your leaves nice and clean and just kind of separate them. That way you know which ones you've cleaned. And as our farmer was saying earlier, there are, you know, anytime you're picking something from the soil, you want to just make sure you have all of your, maybe little bugs or, again, the soil. So for your greens, you see how it has all these different veins in here and the textures. The same texture that makes it amazing when you're picking up that pot liquor on there, it's the same texture that will hold your sand in there and your soil. So that's why it's very important to clean. All right, Commissioner, first off, we're going to make an easy pumpkin souffle, and that is by request from a member of our audience. So to get started, I'm going to whip up the egg whites.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some heavy cream to get started with. So I'm going to grab some sugar. I'm going to pour your heavy cream in here first. I'm going to put maybe about a cup in here. And then I'm going to add some sugar to yours, sugar to mine. You want to add it in there right before you start whipping because it gives it that little bit of texture in there. So it helps when you're whipping.
And when you're preparing those egg whites, you make very sure you don't get any yolk in there.
Right. You make sure you don't get the yolk in there, and you just start whisking. And this is something when you're whisking, you want to lift. You don't want to stir.
You want to
lift. That way you're getting the air in here. So that way you can use a blender or anything like that. But I just like to go the old school method. You're stirring.
Yours has more air than mine.
Yeah, because you're stirring. So I would let you switch off, and then you start stirring my egg whites. Okay, so this is basically what you're going to do. We're going to whip this up, and I'm going to sit this to the side so I can show you the rest of the process. Let me get started on you for a little bit. I didn't just take that, but, you know, here, you can butter these up.
Okay.
We just want to take your fingers, or you can do the spatula, butter all around the sides of your ramekin. And what that's going to do is allow your souffle to rise in your dish. Okay. Yes, so that's what you want to do. So you see how that's starting to take shape?
You're much better at that. I see that.
I see that. You lift on it. So, and again, you can do this in the processor. It really doesn't matter, but I'm old school, so I just go on the premise, either use it or lose it. And you see how it's starting to thicken up a little bit here? I like the way that's, look at that. That is pretty much done.
It looks much easier when you do it.
You want to grab the pumpkin? Oh, you're not done with that yet? One task. You're not done with that yet. What we're going to do next is pull out the pumpkin. We have the pumpkin baking in the oven, and you can do that beforehand, or you can do it right out of the oven like we are. So we need the pumpkin, and we're going to scoop that out.
Okay.
Very nice.
Here we have.
So I've combined the cream and my egg whites.
There you go.
This is nice and hot. And you see how this pumpkin I scooped the pumpkin out already. So let's turn that over.
That's very nice.
Yes. So we're going to get some of that out.
Okay, and you bake that at about 360 degrees for about an hour?
For about an hour. So that's all I want to put in that one right now because we're only doing 2 small ramekins. Stay where you are. And I'm going to come here. And that can actually go back in the oven to cook longer if you want. And let me get this pumpkin seed out. I'll show you that later because we actually baked pumpkin seeds. So now I'm going to add a little bit more sugar in here because this is actually going to be a dessert. So we just start with this first because while we're doing that, then I'm going to cook my mustard greens because it does not take as long. I want a little bit of brown sugar in here also. Now we're going to add some vanilla. We're going to put about a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla in there.
Okay.
And sit that down. What about cinnamon? You like cinnamon?
I love cinnamon.
Okay, we're going to add some cinnamon in here too. About the same, about a 1/4 teaspoon.
But you don't want to overdo it with cinnamon.
No, you definitely don't want to overdo it because you won't have that same nice sweet effect. You should know by now I like sweet food. So I'm going to add some honey in here. I'm going to blend it all together, actually fold it all together. And we're going to pop this in the oven. So let me show you real quick what we're going to do, Commissioner. Add that in there.
Okay.
Pour me can you drop maybe 1 egg yolk in there?
I can.
Oh, he can.
I can.
I like that. Oh, you're good.
Getting better.
Yeah, let's stir that in. Well, you keep stirring and I'm going to keep adding.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so stir. We're going to put a tablespoon of flour in.
Okay.
Stir. I am going to add my mixture in here. Let me stir.
Okay.
Or let me pour. Fold gently. He knows how to fold.
Yes.
And we're going to pour it in here. We're going to bake it off for about 40 minutes on a low 300-degree oven. It's going to rise, and that is all set. I like that.
You like
Start spooning some in so we can get that in the oven. Okay. And that is it for now.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America in your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
All right, Commissioner, we are going to cook mustard greens now. They're actually my favorite type of greens. So,
when we were coming up as kids, we always had a lot of mustard greens and turnip greens. And what my father and uncle would do when we planted our winter pastures, they would put several pounds of seed and we would put it in the planters. And so you would have entire fields full of mustard and turnip greens. And so it would feed our families and any other family that decided they needed some or wanted some. And we would literally pick them in big bushel hampers and give them away. Yes, they're absolutely wonderful.
Nice. Now, folks, what I've done, the pot is already hot. We're heating that up. We're going to start with some great fresh smoked sausage.
There you go.
We're going to add some onions and bell peppers in there. So go ahead and dump all of it. I like sausage. So that way, that's our fat right there. And you can use whatever method you want, but this is what I like to do. And you can make this vegetarian also. Now, I'm going to take the stem off. Take a look at that.
Okay.
I'm not going all the way down because this is really good stuff. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that out.
Just the bottom, where it's a little bit bigger.
Right, where it's a little bit bigger. And then, actually, for me, I don't mind having the entire thing in there. Some people have, they don't really like it, but I do. So, can you pass me? No, I got it. My knife. So, watch how I'm going to cut this here. Here's your spoon.
Thank you.
So you need to render some of that fat out.
There you go.
I'm going to go down here. Actually, I rolled it up first, and I'll show you on my next bunch. And then I made little slices, almost like a little flour. That way you have nice bite-sized pieces. Because I am going to saute these quickly. I don't really smother my greens down a lot. I like to eat them that way, but to me that's more of a comfort food style of eating. And if I'm going to eat like that, I want somebody else to cook it for me. So that's a hint to you all out there. If you like to smother them down and put all the other stuff, call me. I will show up. Empty-handed, except for my fork.
You can smell all this. Yes. This is tremendous. We've got the sausage, the greens, the onions.
Now, what's very important, make sure you clean your greens because they have, they've been fresh picked. They grow in the ground, so they have the soil on there. So you want to make sure you clean them, nice and easy.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's add a little bit of our Cajun seasoning right up front.
Here?
The first one, grab a pinch. Now that's cayenne. You're going to add some of that, but that's cayenne pepper. Okay, add a little bit of that.
A little bit of pinch.
No pinch.
Good?
More.
A little more.
Yeah.
Bigger pinch.
Yeah, bigger pinch.
There you go.
Okay, now add a little bit of cayenne.
Okay.
I'm going to stir while you're doing that.
There?
That's good. He likes the cayenne pepper. Okay, let's add some salt.
Here?
And then I'm going to add some more. Regular white salt going in there.
Good, or more.
I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
And we're just going to let this keep cooking for a minute.
Okay.
And remember, we have our onions in here. It is. We have our bell peppers in here already, so you keep stirring. We're actually using 3 bunches of our mustard greens because they cook down. So if you're doing this for a family, you want to get a family of 4. You probably need about 6 bunches of your mustard greens to make it nice and so that everybody can. Oh, you're a lefty too?
I am.
You need to slide down a little bit. You're
just a little bit, right?
Yeah,
taking your space.
Taking my space.
Taking
here.
your space.
But
right.
so now we have our 3 cuts. We are going to. I'm going to slice that again. And we're just going to keep adding it in there.
And these products are so healthy. These fresh green products, high in fiber, low in fats, high in vitamin A and minerals. You know, and it's just tremendous amount of nutrition.
It has a nice peppery taste to it, and I like that. Gives it that little bit of kick in there that we need. Now, you know what I want to add in there also?
Okay.
Let's add a little bit of honey mustard.
A little bit
in the jar right
in
there.
the jar. Okay.
And I like to do the honey mustard. You can add honey
or
we
just kind of
give a nice
little
drizzle.
How's that?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Will
like
this be a special honey mustard?
That's my honey mustard.
Yes.
That's Celeste honey mustard. So let's stir that in there, and you're going to need a little bit more of that at the end.
Okay.
And folks, this is it. It's as simple as that. We're just going to let this keep stirring a little bit, keep cooking, keep the heat on it. You can adjust the salt level if you like more or less. I tend to lean towards less salt. But you have your sausage in here, all of that good stuff. So we're going to let this cook, and we are going to come back and show you what it looks like, the finished product.
Hello, I'm Judy Myhand. I'm an instructor in the School of Nutrition and Food Sciences at LSU. And today's nutrition segment is mustard greens. Some of the most nutritious vegetables that we eat come from the brassica or mustard family. Another name for these vegetables is cruciferous. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, collards, turnip greens, and the namesake mustard greens are just a few of the vegetables in this rich, various group. For optimum health, eat at least 1.5 cups of dark green vegetables each week. When eaten fresh, the smaller, tender leaves of mustard are an excellent source of vitamin C, A, K, and the minerals iron, calcium, and manganese. When the more mature leaves are cooked southern style, that is, simmered with a ham hock, they lose some of the vitamin C but still retain the other vitamins and minerals. Be sure to dip your cornbread in the pot liquor to get all the benefits. In addition to nutrients, the list of disease-preventing phytochemicals in these vegetables is long, and they are a good source of fiber too. With all the nutrients that are packed into mustard greens, a very low-calorie food, the best nutrition advice I can give is eat more greens.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from Grandma's empanadas. Shall we go again? Yep. Mix beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika, the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it? Got it. Throw on the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Okay, we have our pumpkin souffle in the oven. We have our mustard greens that are done. You can just let them sit here. We're finished with that. So next we're going to take the rest of the pumpkin.
Okay.
And we're going to cut this up and cook it almost like candied yams. We're going to leave the skin on because that's half the fun of doing that. But what I'm going to do is cut them into nice size chunks. Look at that. Nice and easy. And then we'll turn that. This is basically...
And those have already been cooked for about an hour.
Right. About an hour, they're still nice and firm. So when we put them in here, they're just going to finish cooking up. I have a nice...
About brown sugar?
I do. It's about a cup of brown sugar. And I'm using this recipe from one of our farmers. So actually at Glazer's Farm. So she should like this. And she said... Use plenty of butter. So grab the butter. She said, do not spare on the butter.
So butter makes it better?
The butter makes it better.
Butter makes it better.
Don't write to me about the butter. I'm following a recipe. All right. So we're going to use plenty of butter. Okay. That's a lot of butter.
It's a lot of butter.
Yeah, that would be considered plenty. But I'm going to add the other half. And this is actually a baking, or better yet, a pie pumpkin. And that is because of the size. It's going to turn out nice and tender. I'm going to sit it here.
Okay.
And you can add some more brown sugar. I'm going to grab that brown sugar, add some on there.
All righty.
That one. And pour the rest of your vanilla. You're going to drizzle that over top.
We use plenty of brown sugar.
Oh, yeah, we're going to use plenty. This is going to be nice and sweet.
Okay, here's my vanilla.
Pour your vanilla on there. Get all that in there.
Okay.
I was going to say, you missed that one. Now,
a little cinnamon.
Honey. Some cinnamon and honey. I like that.
Okay, cinnamon.
Yeah.
Just.
We'll see how much cinnamon you use. Okay. Pour the honey on there, and we're going to pop this in the oven. I took a trip to North Louisiana to see Jerry Simpson of Papa Simpson's farm. Jerry is well known in Claiborne Parish for the variety of pumpkins he grows. I got to see that when I stopped by for a chat.
We start by planting seeds in a hothouse. To begin with, usually around the 1st of June. We wait till they're about a week, 10 days, and then we transplant them to the pumpkin patch. The pumpkin patch all total is about 2 acres, 2.5 acres.
Okay, well that can produce a lot of pumpkins.
Well, hopefully.
Where does the pumpkin come from?
The pumpkin comes from this. This turns into the pumpkin. And
no kidding?
No kidding. That becomes the pumpkin.
This blossom becomes the pumpkin.
This will shed, and there'll be the little bitty pumpkins. Start off about like the end of a ballpoint pen.
Yeah.
And it'll continue to grow.
Now I see one over here that interests me. That is, what stage is this? How many weeks is this?
This is probably a week old. And if you see the original bloom.
Yeah.
And the blooms, this will fall off once the
So it actually grows out of the bottom of the
bloom.
Yeah. It never ceases to amaze me how a crop like a pumpkin starts out its life as a beautiful flower. So how long from the time you start the seed does it take to get the full pumpkin? How long, what's the growth cycle?
All of it depends on the variety of pumpkins. Okay? Your larger pumpkins, of course, take longer.
Okay.
Normally. Okay? Your 15 to 35, 40 pound, of course you can buy pumpkins 200 pounds.
Right.
And I don't have none of those. But anyway, normally they take somewhere around 110 to 120, 25 days.
So your pie pumpkins, how many
Now,
days would they
take?
take?
Your pie pumpkins, they're going to take somewhere around 90 to 100 days. Your miniature pumpkins will normally take around 70 to 85 days.
So this is just not a fast process
No,
at all.
No.
With such a long growth cycle, you may wonder why farmers like Jerry choose to plant pumpkins over the faster growing crops. The answer is in part agritourism. Pumpkins can be a big draw to an interested public.
We do field trips for school kids. Last year we had nearly 10,000 kids come through here.
Really? Okay.
And now they come in the spring and the fall. But in the fall we have the pumpkin patch. And of course that is to help draw the kids here.
Right.
Okay? But at the same time, in the process of going through the farm tour and seeing what all agriculture produces, they get to come to the pumpkin patch and choose their pumpkin. And they all get to harvest a little miniature pumpkin.
Visit LouisianaGrown.com to find out where your local pumpkin patch is. The kids will have a great time and you'll have the opportunity to add delicious pumpkins to your dinner table. All right, folks, this was nice and simple. We're going to put it together. Commissioner, we have our mustard greens that we've cooked with some of the sausage. These mustard greens are nice and tender.
And look at all the color and flavors that are there.
Didn't take long, but when you buy
Beautiful.
fresh local ingredients, this is what you get. Now, I'm going to add you some of the squash on here. This is actually our pumpkin with a little bit of seeds on there.
Okay.
So give that a try.
Okay.
You need a little extra. Yeah, you do. Here, hang on.
A little,
Just because that's how I
little
like
Chef
it.
Celeste.
Yeah.
Right?
That's my honey
mustard.
Go ahead and
And-
give that a try.
And I tell you,
And you have to save room for dessert. So while he's doing that, folks, I want to thank you all for watching. And we want to thank Acadian House Kitchen and Bath for allowing us to use their studio. But remember, go to our website, which is Cooking Up Louisiana Treasures.
LouisianaTreasures.com.
Right.
Don't forget to take the survey. You can also look at previous episodes.
That's right. How are the greens?
They're wonderful.
You've been watching Cooking Up Louisiana Treasures. Watch more clips from the show online at cookinguplouisianatreasures.com. While you're there, take our quick survey and tell us how you use Louisiana specialty crops. It's all at cookinguplouisianatreasures.com. See you next time.